You are here with By the Cover. Today I'll be reviewing Ghost Eaters by McLeod Chapman. This book was 301 pages and took me 3 days to read. I would rate this book a 6.7 out of 10. This review will contain spoilers, so if you do not want to hear those, click off now. The synopsis. Grieving college graduate Erin uses an experimental drug called Ghost to reconnect with someone she has lost. The substance allows users to see the dead, but it unleashes horrifying, addictive side effects that trap the living in a terrifying supernatural nightmare. As far as my likes with the book, the cover is amazing. I think it really captures the essence and the atmosphere of this story. I really love the idea and the concept of the plot. I thought it was both interesting and original. I also really love the setting and atmosphere of this book. Grounding the story in Richmond, Virginia, a town with a lot of sordid history. Having Erin, our primary character, be immersed in the culture of that town was awesome, and it gave a part of her personality I could latch onto. It was also a good way to offer some social commentary without being blatant about it, and distracting from the overall story. Nothing kills my interest faster than knowing an author is trying to push an agenda at the expense of the story, but I didn't feel that was happening at all here. The first third of this book I absolutely loved. We are dropped in the middle of events with four friends earlier in their lives. I thought the author did an excellent job letting us get to know the characters through their actions. He did a really good job at capturing the feeling of youth, being young, dumb, and reckless, but more than that, being excited about life. It was fun to be along the journey with these four characters during that time. We then get to see them a bit later in their lives. Around this point, tragedy strikes the group, and we get to see how each of these characters deal with it. The author did an amazing job with the imagery in this book, describing the effects of this drug, the various ghosts, and the different locations that our main character is in. I was really quite impressed with it. Anytime descriptions can make me squirm in my seat, I consider that a win for the author. I really love this book up to the point of the first seance. Part of why I didn't enjoy this book as much from this point onward has to do with the primary character's decisions and her spiral into drug addiction and dependency, which is hard to watch. I've dealt with family members who battle addiction frequently, so this portion hit close to home for me personally. This isn't to say it's bad, it was just a little too personal to lay back and enjoy that journey. While I didn't enjoy it much, I did feel that the author did a great job exploring addiction and dependency. It was very frustrating seeing the primary character making the wrong moves in her life over and over. But in real life, people do this all the time. Whether it be ruin their lives with drugs or stay in toxic relationships, even though they know they shouldn't be doing these things. Silas, though I didn't enjoy him as a person, had an interesting backstory and motivation for why he was the way that he was. I thought all the characters were interesting, even though I couldn't relate to a lot of them. I really liked the chemistry between Tanner and Erin. Unfortunately, Tanner is dropped from the story about midway through, which I think is a wasted opportunity. The pacing was great for the first third of the book. The rest of it wasn't bad pacing, but it also wasn't great either. It wasn't slow enough that I was bored out of my mind, but there were points where I was wanting it to move along a bit quicker. The emotional impact was fairly light with this one. There were no real hard-hitting moments, but I could certainly empathize with Erin at certain points in her journey. The primary twist was not that mind-blowing, but I thought it was pretty decent. I liked the ending as well, but it wasn't that mind-blowing either. I think the first third of this book was very, very good. The last two-thirds of this book is where the substance of it lies, really exploring addiction and dependency. The first one-third being like a sunny day where everything is fine, and the last two-thirds of the book seeing the storm clouds rolling in, casting shadows over everything. I think both of these portions are really well done. I feel like the book didn't have many satisfying resolutions. Certain bits of the story were just dropped altogether, but again, this is how it would be in real life with someone addicted to drugs. I feel like I can't fault the author or the story, but it still bugs me. This book was a bit of a mixed bag. I loved parts of it. I felt uncomfortable in parts of it. I think it was a great exploration into addiction and dependency. It was a unique and intriguing idea. It may not have always been the most enjoyable thing to read, but it was entertaining all the way through. This is the first book that I ever read by this author, and I would like to give them another shot in the future. That's about it. We'll catch you later.